Excellent. Okay, let us get started. Okay, so we are going to be showing this to you. Obviously Zoom you can get on a smartphone, you can get it on a tablet. I'm sure many of you are on your computers as well. Any of those devices work for accessing Zoom. You're obviously on a Zoom meeting right now. So the device you're on right now is the best. I always recommend using the biggest device in the house. So if you have a computer screen, maybe an iPad, a tablet, something big, that would definitely be great. But a phone also works, even though it's not as big. A phone works as well. You obviously have to download Zoom, which I'm going to bypass because you all have Zoom downloaded. If you're in this Zoom meeting today, you all have Zoom downloaded because you're able to see me and hear me. We're going to skip over that step because even if you don't think you have it downloaded, you do, or else you wouldn't be here today. Now, when you open up Zoom, you see the 4 buttons that you see on the screen right now. You see 4 buttons. There's one that's orange, and there are 3 that are blue. The one that's orange says New Meeting. The one on the right says Join. And then we have Schedule and Share Screen. So typically, when you joined this meeting today, you either clicked on the link that I sent you, or you opened up Zoom and you clicked on that big blue button that says Join. And you typed in that 9-digit meeting ID 838-464-615. Those are the 2 options for joining a Zoom meeting. In this case, you have to do what I do, which is host a Zoom meeting. And that starts with what I circled, which is by clicking on the big orange button that says New Meeting. That's step 1. When you open up Zoom, you want to click on the big orange button that says New Meeting. Okay. Now, once you click on that button, you will be taken into a Zoom meeting. There's no steps besides that. You're already in a Zoom meeting like you are right now. And at the top left of the screen, you're going to see a little eye with a circle around it, which you actually might be able to see right now on this Zoom. If you look all the way at the top left, you should see an eye with a circle in it, assuming you're on a computer. And if you click on that little button, you'll see information about the Zoom meeting. So you'll see who the host is, you'll see the link, you'll see the meeting ID, you'll see all that information. And that is what a participant needs to join the Zoom meeting. So for example, if you want your relatives to join the Zoom meeting, they need some of that information. So if you click on that little eye, you'll see something similar to what's on my screen. Right now it says join Mittler's Zoom meeting. You might see, I think, Mittler Senior Technology, you'll see that. The important part for you is these 2 ones that I underlined, which is the meeting ID and the Zoom link. And I actually underlined that Zoom has a convenient button that says copy link. Now, you could send both of these. You could send either of these. It doesn't really matter because both of them take you to the same place. If you are dealing with someone who isn't as tech savvy as you are, because you guys are obviously very tech savvy, then the link is probably preferable because it's just 1 click, right? The link is a click, you click on it, and that's it. The meeting ID, you have to open up Zoom and then actually type in the information. So there is an extra step there. But basically, what you could do now is just click on copy link, which is this nice big blue button here. And then open up your email, open up WhatsApp, open up messages, and send this information to whomever. So if I'm assuming you have their phone number, their email address, or whoever you want to send the information to, you will type in their information and send the Zoom information. So once again, let's backtrack. You're going to click on the big blue button that says copy link. Once you click on that, the link is now copied. It's encrypted in the computer. So the next time you paste it somewhere, that will appear. So then you want to open up either messages, you want to open up WhatsApp, email, whichever platform you would like to use to send the Zoom information. And then right inside the message bubble, you will paste it there. If you don't know how to paste, I'll explain quickly. On a computer, you'll click on Command V, which are 2 buttons on the keyboard. Command is next to the space bar, and V is right above the space bar. V is just the letter V, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, the letter V. That's option number 1. Or to copy and paste, you could also click on the edit button, which is found all the way at the top of your computer, like all the way at the top above the Zoom, the edit at the top left. You'll see file, edit, view, all those different little buttons in the menu bar. And by clicking on edit, you will see a button that says paste. So either of those work. But the goal is that what you're trying to do is take the Zoom information from the Zoom meeting and then put it into a message so it could be sent to someone that you want to be able to join. So that should be pretty clear. You're once again clicking on the orange new meeting button. You're clicking on the I at the top left of the screen. You are identifying the meeting ID and the link, and you could copy either of those. I recommend the link because it's the easier one, and it even has a button that says copy link. You can click on that and then paste it into a message that you are going to send to your family member or your friend or someone you want to join the Zoom meeting. Pasting can be done by either clicking on Command and V on the keyboard or by clicking on Edit and Paste at the top of the screen. Okay. Now let's have here, Julia. You could show them. Let's do. So the other side of this is scheduling a Zoom meeting, which basically means here I'll just explain. What I just did is I opened up a meeting and shared the shared the Zoom information with someone that I want to join the meeting. Now that has to happen on the spot, because as soon as you click on new meeting, the meeting opens up, right? But if you would like to schedule the Zoom meeting in advance, so meaning right now, right? I'm not having Thanksgiving dinner now. I'm having it tomorrow, or I'm having it in 2 days. I want to schedule the meeting now for an event that's upcoming in, let's say, 2 days. The process is slightly different, but the gist of it is the same. So this is pretty much what you should be doing, because I'm assuming that you are not going to open up a Zoom meeting the night before or the second before Thanksgiving and then inviting people then. But now is a great time to open up to schedule a Zoom meeting and invite people. So the process is slightly different, and I'm going to have Julie explain to you guys how you get through that.
Okay, so as Jordan said, you're going to use this schedule button when you want to plan your meeting in advance. So you know that you want to make this Thanksgiving meal, and the night of Thanksgiving, you don't want to start setting up a meeting and sending out links and texting people the information. You'd rather do it a couple days in advance. So you can schedule the meeting in advance and text them or email them this information. That way, when you send it to them in advance, they're able to click on it a couple days later, and then the link would work. So you would click on that blue schedule button that is circled on the screen to schedule a meeting that's going to be happening either in a few hours or in a few days that you're scheduling in advance.
Oh, sorry. I'll just mention this. So something that I actually think is important that you should know is that Zoom basically Zoom's free for all people, right? Zoom's free. That there's no expenses that you have to pay, but there is a limit on how long you could have a Zoom meeting for. And that Zoom meeting is usually 40 minutes. That's the limit. But Zoom, something that you should be aware of, is actually getting rid of that limit for Thanksgiving night. So that if you would like to have a meeting longer than 40 minutes, let's say your dinner's 42 minutes, Zoom will not cut you off after those 40 minutes, but you will actually be able to be on Zoom for the entire time. Something you should be aware of, even if you have a free Zoom account, you haven't paid anything, that's totally fine, because for Thanksgiving, for the 24 hours of Thanksgiving, Zoom is taking away that limit so that you could have a Zoom meeting for 24 hours if you wanted. You have unlimited time on Zoom. All right, back to you, Julie.
Okay, so back to scheduling a meeting. When you click on schedule meeting, you're going to see this pop up on your screen. So the first thing that you want to do is type in a topic. So that's going to be the name of your meeting. So right now this meeting is called Mittler Senior Technology. So anytime that you join this meeting, you're able to see that name. So here in this example, it's called Thanksgiving. You're also going to want to set a date and time for your meeting. So you would choose that date and the time that you want to schedule the meeting. And that would be the meeting, that would be when your meeting would start. So in this example here, you have the meeting starting on November 26th at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. And so you want to type in whatever information you want for your specific Zoom meeting. You could also see underneath that the little button that says recurring meeting. So let's say you wanted to schedule a weekly meeting. Every Tuesday night you want to Zoom with your family. You would click on recurring meeting so that this link would work every single Tuesday night. Underneath that, you see the meeting ID button in bold. So there's two options here where you can either generate automatically, so it would make any random number for your meeting ID, or you could choose personal meeting ID. So you could choose from those two options. The next thing is security. So Zoom has certain things in place so that random people aren't going to be joining your Zoom meeting when you don't want them to. So you can either choose between a passcode or a waiting room. So if you choose passcode, that means that anybody who's joining your Zoom meeting will have to type in the password in order to join. So they won't be let in if they don't have the correct password. The alternative to having a password is having a waiting room. So the person who's joining the Zoom meeting won't have to type in a password, but the person who's hosting the meeting will have to admit them into the room. So for this meeting that we have right now, Jordan has a waiting room. So you guys didn't need to type in a password to join the meeting, but Jordan did need to accept you and allow you into the meeting. So this would make sure that nobody is joining the meeting who you don't accept. Then below it, you could see the video. So you can have either your video on and off, and you can have the participants' videos on and off. So I'm assuming that you'd want to see the other people in your Zoom meeting. So you should have those both on. And then also audio, you're going to want to connect your audio to your computer. And then at the end, once you finish all of these, you finish putting in all of this information, you're going to press that blue save button, and that will save this scheduled meeting in advance.
Great. So Julia basically walked you through the scheduling process. The only things I would basically disregard in terms of the defaults are, for example, meeting ID. Generate automatically is already selected, so I wouldn't worry about changing around that. The security is already selected waiting room, something you also shouldn't have to worry about. The video, they're both on, which you should leave alone unless you want the videos off. And the audio is already on telephone, computer audio. So most of these you don't actually have to play around with. The important ones for you are the topic, which I think it will just say Zoom meeting, but you want to change it to something that people will recognize. So Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving dinner, and then the date and time. You have to put a start date and an end date. Now, you don't have to be too particular about the time. So for example, if you think it will take an hour, so you set from 8 to 9 p.m., but it ends up taking 2 hours, it won't kick you out, meaning that the time isn't limited. It's totally fine if you start before the time or you go over the time. It's basically a guideline so that when you send the Zoom information to one of your friends, they see 8 o'clock Zoom, but it doesn't have to be as rigid as that. So I wouldn't worry too much about the restrictions of the time. Okay, so once you have typed in all that information and you click on save, now if you go back into Zoom, the same place we saw the 4 buttons, and you click on meetings, and meetings is found all the way at the top of the screen. I put an arrow directly towards it. The reason why we want to click on meetings is because we want to see the meetings that we have scheduled, which in this case, we want to see our Thanksgiving meeting that we just scheduled. And if you click on that, you will see on the left side of the screen a list of all your scheduled meetings. And here it is, Thanksgiving, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., and the meeting ID. Here's the meeting that we just scheduled. That's the only one that I see because that's the only one that I've scheduled so far. If you click on it, and you know you've clicked on it when it's highlighted in blue, on the right side, you'll see more information like the date and etc. And you will also see the important button, which is copy invitation, which is how you could copy actually what's great about this button is that it not only copies the link, but it also copies the meeting ID, it copies the time, it copies all the other information just by one click. Just by clicking on copy invitation, all the information about the Zoom meeting is now encrypted in your computer. And now wherever you go, whether it's email, whether it's messages, whether it's WhatsApp, you could paste it in and you will be able to send it to any of your friends. When it's time to start the meeting, you just have to go to the same place and you see directly to the left of that is a nice big blue button that says start. So once you're ready to start the meeting, once it's time, 8 o'clock on what is it, Thursday, November 26th, you'll click on that big blue button to start. The Zoom meeting will automatically open up, and you will be able to start having your virtual Zoom dinner. So the only difference in terms of scheduling is that this is if you want to do something in advance. The first time we showed you by clicking on the orange button, it's for right on the spot. If you click on that, you'll open up a Zoom meeting and you could then click on the I to get the information and share it with your friends and family. If you want to schedule in advance, which I'm recommending you do, because if you leave it to the last minute and things go wrong, it might not work out. So I recommend doing this. If maybe tonight would be a great time to set up your Zoom meeting if you would like to. Just click on the schedule button, which once again is over here, the nice big blue schedule button that looks like a little calendar. Typing in all the information, which in this case, I said the only ones that are truly important is the topic, which you should put at Thanksgiving or Thanksgiving dinner, and then setting the date and time. And once you have done that, inside your meetings category at the top of the screen, you will see the Thanksgiving meeting. And this is where you could just click on copy in order to send the information to your friends and family. And you can click on the big blue start button in order to actually start the meeting when the time comes. Okay, now something I just wanted to add. Here, let's have Joe. Do you want to just explain how you let people in?
Sure. Okay, so once you started a Zoom meeting and you can see, I don't know, whatever your face or whatever your camera is showing, and so when someone enters the waiting room, you will see a pop-up that says so and so entered the waiting room. So if Jordan entered the waiting room, it would say Jordan Mittler entered. If Julia Fight entered, so it will tell you. Sorry. Zoom will tell you who is joining your meeting, which is another way to enhance security, so random people are not joining. And then to admit this person, you would just press that big blue admit button. And to view other people in the waiting room, you would press view. And sometimes Zoom will say, instead of someone's name, it will say 5 people have entered the waiting room. And instead of pressing admit all, you want to see who is there in case there's someone who you don't want in your meeting. So you would click on view and then you could click on admit for specific people.
Great. So because of privacy, Zoom makes you either have a passcode or a waiting room, so it's not something you could turn off. You saw that when you came into this Zoom meeting, you must remember it said, "Please wait, our team will let you in soon." And then you saw our logo and you saw some other information. That's what the waiting room looks like, and that's what your participants will see when they first come into your Zoom. They will see that until you click on the blue admit button. Now this will come up towards the top of the screen anytime someone joins your Zoom meeting. And you just want to make sure that you're aware of the person. So, Jordan Mittler, I know who that is. I'm going to click on admit. Now, sometimes it might not give you the full name. Like sometimes it might say Jordan's iPhone, or sometimes it might say something else like that, and you might not be familiar with it. Zoom sometimes does that, but it typically should be fine, because anyone who you send the information to, that's the only people who know about it and can join. Zoom sometimes have people who you could get into Zoom meetings, but that typically doesn't happen. So that's the point of the privacy and the point of having a waiting room turned on. Okay. Caroline, you here?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, Caroline. So when you finish your Zoom meeting, what's the difference if you're the host than if you are a participant?
Okay, so what you've been doing every time you've been Zooming is there's a leave button in the bottom right corner where you press, and then it gives you the option again to leave the meeting. When you're the host of a meeting, you don't have the leave option. The option you have is end meeting, which is shown in the same spot as the leave button that you have. And what this button does, it ends the meeting for everyone. So when you press this button that says ends meeting, it'll end the meeting for everyone, not just you. Everyone will be kicked out of the meeting.
Exactly. So you have to be aware that you might be used to just leaving a Zoom meeting and letting everyone else continue talking. But actually, in the case if you're the host, when you leave, everyone leaves. So there's, if you want to leave and allow the other people to continue talking, you have to make someone else the host, which we're not going to go into. I don't think that's a little too complicated for today. But because you're the host, you have an obligation to actually stay in the Zoom meeting. And when you leave, everyone leaves. So you have to be aware of that at the end of the Zoom meeting. If let's say your family want to continue talking, but you want to leave and do something else, you have to be aware of that. Okay. All right. So that basically concludes the first part, which is how to host a Zoom meeting, how to schedule a Zoom meeting, how to set something up. If there are any questions, please put them into the chat or raise your hand virtually by clicking on participants and then raise hand, or more and then raise hand. Now, some people are asking about where the end meeting button is. You don't see it right now. Why? Because you're a participant. You are not the host right now. You don't see end meeting. Instead, you see leave. Right? You should see all the way at the bottom right, a big button that says leave. Now, when you are the host on Thanksgiving Eve, which I'm assuming you will be, then you instead of leave, in the exact same place, it will say end meeting. The reason why is because in that case, you're the host. You have the power to completely close the meeting for everyone, not just you. Now, participants don't see it. Participants see leave. So right now in this Zoom meeting, you do not see this button. You only see leave. You do not see end meeting. Okay, I'm trying to flip through to see if there are any questions. But if not, you could put them into the chat so I see them. Yes, Martin, go ahead.
I noticed on my iPhone it says to download Zoom Cloud Meetings. Is that the correct icon? I'm looking for.
So Zoom Cloud Meetings is the same as Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. All right, I'm not seeing any more questions for now, which is great because I want to move on. If you do have any more, please.
In the chat, Jordan.
Question in the chat. All right. I think we answered that one. How do you find end meeting? We answered that right now you don't see it, but typically it will be at the bottom right when you are the host. All right, so we are going to continue, but feel free to continue to put those questions into the chat if you do have any further questions. Okay, now the next section of this, which I think is also pretty interesting, is how to find Thanksgiving recipes and how to cook Thanksgiving foods online. Obviously, food is a big part of Thanksgiving, and if you're not so interested in food, that's fine. That's also fine, because this procedure that we're about to show you is the same thing for finding anything on the internet. If you want to find a resource, maybe a video of something, a picture, any of that, it all works the same. But we're going to show you the example is going to be with Thanksgiving recipes specifically. Okay, so I'm actually going to share my screen so you could see it. This starts from going to the internet. So this can be done on any device, not just computers, on your phone, on your tablet, on your iPad, any device. Just open up the internet. The internet is either Safari, if you're on an Apple one, or maybe Chrome, whichever one you use, whichever, it's called an internet browser, something that we also cover in our class. But basically the same way you would open up the internet for anything else, just do that same procedure. And you'll typically be taken to Google, which is kind of the main interface of the internet. If you do not see Google, that's also fine. In the search bar, which is what you see at the top of the screen, you'll see your little line blinking. You see a blinking, it's called a cursor. And right in there, you could just type in google.com, which is the website of Google, if you don't see it, because Google is a great place to start when you want to find something. So if you do not see Google when you first open up the internet, just type into the search bar, google.com. Google spelled GOOGLE.com, then click on the return or enter key, and you'll be taken to the Google homepage, which looks something like this. Okay, now to find something on Google, this is the Google search bar. You just have to type something in, a specific keyword that you're looking for. I'll just mention that it's important to be specific when you're searching. This is something that we emphasize a lot in the class. Because people tend to type in search terms that are either too long or include unnecessary words, or even words that will take them to a incorrect search. So the example I always give is if you type in Apple, right? If you type in Apple, you will not only get the Apple Store for technology, you'll get Apple Juice, you'll get applesauce, you'll get apples like you could actually eat, you'll get packs of apples, you'll get places to go apple picking, meaning there's so many different combinations of the word apple that will come up on your screen. So it's important that when you're searching to be specific. So if I want the Apple iPhone, I'm not only going to type in Apple, but I'm going to type in Apple iPhone. And now there's no way it will give me applesauce. This is pretty specific that it will give me the Apple iPhone. So it's important before you search to think about it and make sure that your search term is very specific so that you get exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so for the example, I'm just going to type in, let's say a turkey recipe. Let's say we want to see how to make turkey. So I'm just going to type into Google turkey recipe. And I'm going to click on the return or enter key. And you can see how now we went into Google. And all the way at the top of the screen, we're already finding results of things that we could browse. You could scroll down to find even more things like links in different articles. You could find questions like, what can I put turkey in for flavor? How do I keep my turkey moist? Is it better to cook a turkey at 325 or 350? These are questions that people put into Google already because they were curious on finding the answers. You can keep scrolling and finding all these different resources. Okay, so Julia, you want to show us how to open up something and how we could browse it?
Okay, so once you're on this page, you've already searched turkey recipe into Google. You could see that a lot of different links come up, all to different websites with different recipes. So you could click on any one of these recipes. You could scroll through and see what's appealing to you. And once you click on that recipe, that's how you'll find any sort of recipe. So Joe can choose any one of them, and you could read through this article and make your turkey. You could follow the recipe, and you can also read through the article to make sure that it is what you want. You could also see on the top of this article here, if Joe scrolls up, there's a button to print the recipe. So if it's easier for you to work off a piece of paper, then you're also able to do that. And then you are able to follow the recipe on paper. Another way to watch to follow a recipe is not through an actual article, but sometimes it's by watching a video. So you could see that in the beginning when Joe typed in turkey recipe, right next to that all button is the videos button. And if you click on that videos button, then you're going to get turkey recipes in the form of videos. So you're able to watch step by step and follow any one of these videos in order to make your turkey. So instead of having to read through the article, you're able to watch them and follow along with the recipe. So it's basically according to your preference, whether you'd rather read the recipe or print it out or watch the video. So here, Joe just clicked on one of the videos, and as you can see right now, there's an advertisement, but once you skip that ad, you can see that here's a video, and also up next, it will give you things that are recommended for you. So because Joe clicked on a video about turkeys, you could see that there's other recipes right next to it on the right that are now recommended for him. So you could scroll through those and choose other videos.
Great. Some people like reading recipes, some people like watching videos, but it's really up to preference on how you like to browse the internet. Something else is next to videos, there's an images button. And if you click on that, you can see pictures, which you can then go from there to other recipes. So if I click on images, you'll see that here we're getting all these different pictures of turkeys, and you can click on any of them in order to take you to the recipe that actually produced this picture of a turkey. And you could switch between all video and images, kind of the three popular ones, just by clicking on any of those three options at the top of the screen. Now, something I'll add is that if you know that you want a recipe, let's say from Food Network, you know there's a website you want to get the recipe from, then the process is slightly different. You'll first type in Food Network into Google. So I'm going to type in Food Network. And once you type in Food Network, usually the first option should be correct. It's foodnetwork.com. That's the website of Food Network, which I just clicked on. And here's the Food Network website. So my goal is to find a recipe for making turkey on the Food Network website. I haven't done this, so maybe they might not have one, but I'm assuming it's Thanksgiving time. They probably do have something. So I'm going to type into what are you looking for, which is a search bar in the center, meaning anytime you open up a website, you usually want to look for a search bar because that's where you type in something that you want to look for. So I'm just going to click on what are you looking for, and I'm going to type in turkey recipe. And I'm going to click on the return or enter key. And you can see that now all of these recipes that we're getting are not from Google, but they are all built into the Food Network website. So they are pretty reliable, and you can click on any of them. So let's say I click on the first one. I can see it's giving me some information about about the turkey. It's saying that there's a website I can click on to get the recipe. There are more recommendations, like it's giving me different pies and other Thanksgiving foods that you could create. So you using a website like Food Network that's aimed and was designed for food, it is a little easier to actually search through that than it is to be on Google, which means you're just searching on everything, so anything food related. But if you want something directly from Food Network, or maybe there's another website that you enjoy, or a website full of recipes that you would like, I would go there first and then use the search bar and try and find something that you're looking for. Okay. So this process is the same if you want to type in a question into Google or anything like that. That's why even if you're not so big on cooking and etc., you could also use the same skill to actually find something on Google just by typing in any question into Google, going through the links, being specific in your search term, and switching between all videos and photos in order to find exactly what you are looking for. Okay, Marilyn, I see you have a question, so you have to unmute yourself, and then you can go ahead and ask. You accidentally clicked on mute, so let's click on unmute. In the center of the screen. There you go.
I said my question maybe pertains more to the printer, but I find that when I get up recipes and I'm interested in them, want to print them off, they have a lot of wording before and after, and they take up a lot of space, and I end up wasting paper. How do I specify that I just want the recipe in concise form on my printer?
That's a great question. And basically on any recipe that you're looking, the print button will always be in a different place. You can see out here it's in the center. Sometimes it might be at the top. Depending on what website you're looking at, it might be in a different location. But you can always rely on clicking on File and then Print. That will always be there, File and Print, and it will print everything on the web page. So if I click on File and Print, you see that it is now taking all the information that's on the web page, and it's showing me the link here. But let's say this is 10 pages. I'm scrolling down. This is 10 pages of resources. I probably don't want all this. So you have to find the pages that you care about. So for example, page 1 looks like pretty irrelevant. I don't need a page that says get free receipts. I also don't need a page just with a picture, right? I just want the recipe. So we can just start off out of the 10 pages. I definitely don't need pages 1 and 2. Let's go to page, let's say page 3 is also not important. Let's see when we get to the actual recipe. Here are some tips which you could print, some do's and don'ts, but let's see if we could find the actual recipe. Okay, so here's where the recipe starts. The recipe starts on page 7. So you can see that pages 1 through 6 were not so important. So you could already start from page 7. It is spaced out a little strange in sense that it has like 1 instruction per page, but it seems like 7, 8, 9, and 10. It seems like we cut down from 20 pages to only 3. So you basically have to scroll through and see which pages do I need, which pages are important. Some people might want the picture of the turkey, so you have to think about which ones you specifically want. And then once you find those pages, like let's say I want pages 7 to 10, then in the printer feed where it says pages, you could change from all, which is every single page in the document, to custom, meaning that you will only select a certain number of pages So I will put in, let's say 7 to 10, 7-10. Now only, these 3 or 4 people these 3 or 4 pages will come out of the printer as opposed to all 20 of them.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Okay, let me see. There are a few questions in the chat. Okay, so there are a few questions about Zoom. That's fine, and if we do have time at the end, we'll answer those. But I want to continue with our material now, and hopefully we'll have time at the end to answer those Zoom questions. Okay. All right. So regarding the Macy's parade, I'm sure you all know, if you're in New York or whatever, you know that every year they have a parade that happens, in New York City, where they walk down with these huge balloons and etc. But basically this year they're having a virtual parade, and the virtual parade is taking place it's going to be on NBC, and there's no cost in order to participate. I just figured this picture I took from their website. But we are going to show you now how to access both information about the parade and also how to get on to actually watch it, how to actually get the link and how to be able to watch the actual event. So let us go back to Google. I'm going to open up the same Google page we had before, and I'm going to type in, instead of Thanksgiving recipes, I'm going to type in Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Now, that seems a little too long. I'm just going to type in Macy's Parade, because I'm assuming Google will be able to infer that I'm referring to the Thanksgiving Day Parade. And looks like it did, right? It gave us the date, Thursday, November 26th. And if you scroll down a bit, you see other videos and news articles about it. And here's the link that we're looking for. You have to scroll down a little bit, but it says Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade info and more. And if I click on that, this is actually exactly the screenshot that I took. This is the website of the parade. And to see more information about it, after going to this link, you could just scroll down. You see here's a countdown until the actual parade, and here are different things you can click on, like the safety protocols, the lineup. Let's see what the lineup is. If I click on lineup, this should give me some sort of agenda here of all the different balloons that are happening. I'm not sure how many of you are interested in seeing the lineup of the cartoon balloons, but you could play around with this and see the details. 42 feet tall. Wow, that's 1 feet, whatever, etc. You can go through this. Okay. So you could scroll through this and click on lineup info in order to find information about it. There's a button that says news. I guess you could find news about it. You could give money. You could buy things regarding the parade. I don't know. If you want to flip through this is something that you could do. But the important one is where it says featured on NBC, because if you click on that, you will be taken to the platform where you could then watch the actual parade. So if I click on featured on NBC, it will take me to this panel. Now, right now, it just says see the stars shine on NBC. But at the time of the parade, it will show you right here a video. A video will be playing. Right now, it just says see the stars, but you will see the video right here playing on the morning of the parade. Now, if you're the time of it is 9 a.m. Eastern time on Thursday. So if you go in at 9 a.m., instead of seeing the word see the stars, you will see some sort of video playing. Now, the other alternative is by just typing in to the search bar like NBC.com. If I type in NBC.com, which is the website of NBC, which is where they're streaming the Thanksgiving Day Parade, and you click on live, meaning that you want live TV. You don't want recordings. You don't want shows, movies, all that. Those are recorded events. You want TV that's happening live. So I'm going to click on live. And this is what's on the TV live. So it's asking me for my information. So this platform basically
members like Martin, an airport.
If you do not have like cable, right? If you don't have TV, you can't do it this way, but you actually have to do it from the website, what I showed you. But if, for example, you have Verizon, you have Verizon Fios, you have Spectrum, you have Optimum, you have one of these TV providers, then by going to NBC, you will get access to be able to watch live TV, something that only people who actually have NBC as part of their subscription can actually access. So if I go to, let's say I go to try and find, this should be tomorrow. I'm not sure how far this will let me go. Oh, so it seems like it doesn't let me go far enough. But yeah, if you go to live and you watch this is live TV right now that we're playing. This is live TV. During the morning of the parade, assuming you have some sort of subscription with Optimum or Spectrum or Verizon or whatever you're using, you will be able to watch the parade directly from the internet. Now, obviously, if you have a television, you could just click on the power button and start playing it there as well. This is for a mobile device like a computer or a smartphone or a tablet. You could either, once again, go to Google and just type in Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade or even Macy's Parade. Go to this website, which looks just like this. It says Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade at the top. That's how you know you're in the right place. And you could scroll down until you find the one that says NBC, which I'll show you is, scroll down a little bit and looks like it's over here, featured on NBC. And by clicking on that, you will then be taken to the See the Stars Shine on NBC, seeing that website, which will be converted into a streaming platform at 9 a.m. on Thursday, November 26th. Right now, you don't see that because it's not happening, but when it is, you will see it there. The alternative is to go to NBC.com and just click on live, and you will be able to watch whatever's on TV at that time live, which in this case is not the parade, but on Thursday morning, it will be. Okay, let's X out some of these. Okay. Now, here are, for your reference, Joe, if you could just put these into the chat, you can just type them in. But here are two links that, you instead of going into Google and going through all those steps, Joe will put into the chat right now. The first link, which is Macy's.com/social/parade/. That link will take you to information about the parade, including the link to get to the NBC platform. Now, the second link, which is NBC.com/live, that link will take you to the NBC website where you can then go ahead and watch it from there. Either one of those works, but right now you obviously can't access it because it's not live right now. But on Thursday morning, when it is live, you could use either of these links, click on them, and you'll be taken to the correct place, or you could just go to Google like we showed you and type in Macy's Parade or Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade or however you think is the most specific way that can give you the results that you're looking for. Okay, so let's just recap quickly. You should basically know from what we've covered today a few things. Number one, you should be aware of how to host a Zoom meeting. You should know how to leave our Zoom meeting today and schedule the Zoom meeting for your family for either Thursday or Wednesday or whenever you have your Thanksgiving meal. You should be able to admit people into the Zoom meeting from the waiting room by clicking on admit, that big button, and have a nice virtual gathering with your family. Number two, you should be able to search on Google and find recipes and videos and different resources on how to find foods and cooking videos and pictures and articles and recipes all on Google by typing in either the name of something that you want to cook or by typing into the search bar a platform like Food Network or some sort of other recipe platform that you would like to use, and then search directly there. Both of those are both options. And finally, the parade will be taking place virtually on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. You could access it one of three ways: by going on your television and by turning